my bad, but thank you for reminding me. All right, well, for those of you that are at home, we drew that one first. You're just going to have to figure it out. This one we will do step by step. Pays to be in class, I guess. All right, so let's do one of my favorite animals. So with this one, we're going to start with that circle. Does everybody have that on there? Does anybody need a second to get that circle drawn? Okay, looks good. Let's put an oval on this one instead of a circle. Ovals are longer than they are wide. So I'm just doing one side. I want it to touch the bottom of my main circle. I'm doing the top side. You'll see, that's an oval shape, almost like a little mouth going, ah, really loud. So if you use the little surprised or shocked emoji, that kind of mouth. Just make it straight up and down and not crooked. Okay. Now we're going to do a little change. So I'm not going to I'm going to come to about where the top of this is, and I'm going to put a curved line that comes slightly out and right back into my circle. So watch what I do here. Curving this line, bringing it slightly outside, and blending it right back into my circle. I do that on one side. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. It's kind of a hook shape. It's important that those things look even with each other and are straight across from each other. If we get one too far down the page or too far up, it's going to distort everything. Now the main circle that's inside of it, just go ahead and erase that out. That's why we drew it light, so we can make it go away when we want it to. Anybody want to guess what this is going to be? No. A what? That's a pretty good guess, but nope. What do you think it is? I could almost make it into a bunny. I'm glad you guys are guessing. So here's the nice part about guessing, is in your mind you're thinking, I can change this to this or that, and it's true, you probably could. But in this case, we're going to do a chicken. And this is how we're going to make him look like a chicken. Right here, we're going to put like a V shape, like a little bird flying through the air. You know how you guys draw those little birds like that all the time? Just curve the wings, put that right in the middle. That's why it needed to be straight up and down. So we do that. Yep. Just round it off a little bit more, like that. Okay. So we got the little bird flying in the center, and then we're going to go right below this line where it comes to the edge. We don't want it necessarily lining up right here. Whoops. We don't necessarily want it lining up here. It'll come out down just below, because the beak is closer to us and the back of the beak's further away. So therefore, this is going to be slightly lower, and it's going to come up towards our curve up here, and then we're going to put like a little parenthesis on it. So that's the edge of his mouth, and then we're going to do one comes over here like this, because he got a big old mouth. If you ever hear chickens in the morning right after they lay an egg, they sound like they got a big old mouth, because they are noisy. You have chickens? Yeah, they're noisy. But I love my chickens. They're like my favorite animal some days. I used to think dogs and cats were the best, but then I got chickens and realized, oh, they're a lot easier to take care of than a dog. What? Oh, I like my chickens. My chickens are my friends. They follow me all over the yard. Okay, this chicken needs some eyes. So we're going to put like a number 3 or a distorted McDonald's sign. So I'm going to go just like this, and notice I'm angling out, and when I get in the middle I go down and come back out this side. If I did this all the way around, what does that form? If I went all the way around to a point and came back, what is it? A heart. So like you're drawing a heart, but this part's cut off. Okay, and I know you've all drawn a heart before, because a lot of you guys have been drawing since you're just little teeny kids. Say we try to stay with familiar shapes. Well, that heart was so much fun. Let's draw another one right here that's smaller. Just right there. Okay? Or, if you turn it this way, it's just a number 3. Okay? Now, instead of eyebrows, I'm just going to put a little line like this and a little line like that on this one. I'm not going to draw like big, thick eyebrows on this one. It's just more like a brow. Now, the hardest part of this chicken isn't that hard if you follow along. I'm going to turn my paper a little bit of a diagonal. I'm going to come near the center. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to make a hook shape. Just do that hook shape to start with. So I come around, I got my hook shape on there. Then I'm going to make a little bump that's shorter on the paper. It's further down. This is the tallest part of the drawing. This is the second tallest part of the drawing. So it should come down. It's almost like we're drawing a heart that's tipping over to the left. Then I'm going to do a little smaller one, and it's even closer to the chicken's head right there. Okay? Now I don't have much space between this and the chicken's head, so I'm going to come down and do another littler one and connect it to the head. Now we have the little crest on my chicken's head. Okay? That's all we're trying to do is get it connected up. Just make sure it connects. Now we can go in and do some detail work. So first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to put a little bitty line right there. I'm not going to draw it all the way down, just a little bitty one, kind of shows the point of the beak. I'm going to darken my original circle on the top, because now I'm not erasing anything else. So I can darken that line now. Got a double line there, so I'm just going to clean it up. Okay, got a happy little chicken right now. On the eyes, I'm going to put a little circle right here and a little circle right here, and then I'm going to color this smaller heart that we did in black and leave those little circles white. So those are going to be like the little shines in his eye. When I say black, I mean I don't want any other white showing through other than the little shines in his eye. So sort of black doesn't cut it. You want it to be black as black can be. Okay. So when I finish it, you can see that's pretty dark black. Okay, that's what we want. I'm going to darken my beak in a little bit because now I don't need to change anything on it either. So I'm just going to darken my line in a little bit so they drip pretty light. So if you drew light, that's great. You should have. Just darken it in a little bit now because we're getting towards the end. And I'll darken in the bottom of that circle too. Now it shows up really good on my paper because I got everything darkened in now. But we waited till the end. That way if we had to make a change, we could. I'm going to put 2 little nostril holes, one right here and one right here. They're just little bitty guys. You don't need to go all crazy on those. See, they're just little tiny so we can get a little air through his beak. And then we'll put a neck on him, and then we'll lightly color in that crest, and we'll have a done chicken. So for his neck, we want to go on either side of the beak. We don't want it to be lined up right here and here. You have a little pencil neck. We want it out here wider than the beak. So I'm going to bring one line comes out there, and one line comes out there, and I'm flaring it out slightly at the bottom. So it's closer here and slightly further out at the bottom. Not hard, not coming way out here, just a little bit. And then along the bottom, I'm going to make it look like water. When you guys draw water, it's like that, and that's going to represent feathers. So that's like where his neck would, and then it would connect into the body. We could put a big old fat body, but we're not going to do that today. but his body would be like big and round out here. Okay, for that little crest up here, this is where we're going to practice our coloring skills a little bit. So I want you to color this in a medium to a medium dark gray, and I want you to try to do it without having any space between your lines so it doesn't look like scribble. So this is scribble. Just to be clarified, if I got this shape on here, this is scribble. Okay? That's not keeping your lines close together. This is keeping your lines close together with no space between them. Okay? This is what we want to do right here. All right? So really, really try to control what you're doing with that pencil. Now, it might get a little dark on you. And if it gets a little dark, because you're trying to really to be careful and keep from having space in your lines, I'm okay with it getting a little dark. What I'm mostly looking for is that you keep your lines close together and it's smooth and even coloring. And we'll practice that the remainder of the year. Some of you are going to have a real tough time with that in the beginning, but generally most of you get pretty good at it by the end of the semester. Some of you are going to be really good at it already, because some of you already do a lot of coloring. I'm just going to bring one more, just so it fits on there better. One more just to connect it to the head there. That one. All right. Does anybody need more time to finish up their chicken? Because I know some of you are taking your time on your coloring. Just raise your hand. Don't be shy. I just need to know before I move on. I see a couple of hands, so we'll give you a second. Yeah, that time went by fast. We only have 5, 10, 15, about 15, 16 minutes left of class. I tell you, 7th grade, last class of the day, it's the best class of the day. It goes by so dang fast sometimes. And I'm grateful. I'm glad it's that way. Okay, so I'm going to raise this way up here so you can see what I'm doing kind of. So I'm going to take my paper. Now I got that part done. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom part here. And I'm going to open it up. And the reason I want to do that instead of just flipping it this way is sometimes this gets stuff smeared all over it from the desk. So if I just open it up so that my drawings are just away from me and now I'm down here, that keeps any smearing on the back of my paper instead of on the front of my paper. So I'm going to put another circle right here, bottom left corner, okay, bottom left section here, another circle right in the middle. Again, turning my paper around. When my oldest son was little, he used to call drawing a circle round. That actually technically makes sense. Instead of just saying draw a circle, he says draw a circle round. That technically makes sense. It's a round circle. I think you'll like this one. This one's going to take us maybe a little longer. I don't know if it'll take us to the end of the period, but it might. We need to kind of figure out where the middle is here. I'm just going to put a light line there. I don't really need it, but I'm just doing it to kind of give you guys an idea. We just need to kind of know where the middle is. I'm going to bring this down closer so you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully keep it on the screen. And then from that middle, I'm going to take a curved line, and I'm going to come right out here. And I'm not going to do a heart this time. I'm going to come out and go curved and down to the side of my, down to the end. It's going to end right there at the bottom of my line. Again, what number is that? Just a 3, okay? Well, I had so much fun doing that 3 that I'm going to do another 3 right here, but it's not going to be very big. It's just going to come back to the center connect back up to my old line. So when I'm done, I got a 3 on top and a 3 on the bottom. And I notice this one's a little higher than that one. I'm not going to change. It's okay if it's a little off. If it's a lot off, that's not okay. See, the distance from here to here is further than here to here on this one, but we're only talking like 1/8 of an inch, which is going to be fine on this particular drawing. We're going to draw a really high-tech, difficult nose on this. By the way, it went from being 2 3s into the number what? 8. Yep. So you can just put an oval there and oval there, and it'd be a thick-lined 8. So I'm just trying to point out, and I'll re-emphasize that a lot, that it's simple shapes that you've drawn most of your life. So let's erase out the main circle in there so it's all cleaned out. We don't want that in there now. Go away. And we're going to put a nose on this thing. And the nose, I really like drawing because it takes no thinking at all. We're just going to take a curved line and go from here to here, just like that. And now we got a nose. And from here, we could make this a number of things. That would be really easy to make into a beaver right now. I put a little buck tooth right there, some little ears, a couple eyes. We'd have a beaver. We'd have a beaver, but we're not going to do a beaver today. We can do that on another day. Here's where it's going to get a little weird. Is everybody this far? Anybody need a second? Get ahead of anybody? If you don't raise your hand, I don't know. Okay, so don't be shy about raising hands. Okay, we're going to take a line that kind of follows this edge right here. So I'm following this, and I'm just going to extend it down. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to turn my paper so it's easier to do. Bring it down. I don't want them touching though, just about the same length. Just like that. Clean that up so it's a nice straight, nice clean line. Okay, so now it looks like I got a number 9 and a backwards 9. And then I'm going to come over here to the middle, and I'm going to do the same thing, and then at the bottom, I'm just going to round it off. Oops, let me move it up, thank you. Bring it down the bottom and round it off. So what are we drawing? There you go. We're just putting a couple big old tusks on him. I'm going to try to make that with one line from here to here so it doesn't look like a hairy line by going. Now we have the foundation for the walrus. To draw his eyes, we're going to do 2 separate eyes. We're going to start right here where the nose meets up with the muzzle, and I'm going to curve it a little bit in, then back out and come around. I'm going to curve it a little bit in, curve out, come around, okay? Want them to be about the same size. As long as they're close, we're in good shape. That also forms a little muzzle right here by doing that. Then I'm going to put a little line above the nose, little like a parenthesis shape above the nose. It doesn't touch the eyes. It's close, but it kind of makes it look like a little wrinkle above his nose. And I gotta say, you guys are doing really good. Usually, when I teach this, we are lucky to get 2 drawings done. We're going to get 3 done today, for sure. Might even get the circle for the 4th one drawn. Okay, for the eyes on this guy, we're going to give him some fairly big eyes. We're going to come out near the edge, just inside of it, and put like an upside down U shape. Do the same thing on this side. So they're pretty big. And I'm going to give him eyebrows as well, but his are going to be a little different. So I'm going to follow the same contour as his eye right here, that shape. So I'm going to put a curved line right here, just like that. I'm going to put a curved line right here, just like that. But then I'm going to make it a point on one end, and a point on this end, and then I'll just connect the two at the other end. So it's more triangular shape, okay? So we're making triangle eyebrows. And then, of course, I'm not going to erase that line inside because I'm going to make his eyebrows black so it'll make that line go away. All right? I forgot he needs a chin. So to put a chin on him, we're going to come down just a little ways and put a curved line right there for his chin. We're not going to do any other detail like a lip or anything because his muzzle's covering most of it. But I am going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like some little whiskers right there. So put some little teeny whiskers on his chin. Doggone it, it keeps, what happens is it gets pushed by the paper, so yes, keep reminding me when it does that. Paper keeps pushing it off the camera. Darn its hide. All right, let's put some ears on this little guy, and they have little tiny ears, so we're going to put a little tiny ear over here, and a little tiny ear over here. And instead of doing 2 lines, we're just going to do 1/2 line and 1/2 line over there. So they're just little, okay, like that. It's probably good they got little ears or they'd be full of water all day long. Now in his case, I'm going to just put some short hairs on him. I'll put one here, one here, one here leaning that way, one here, maybe a couple leaning that way. Just little short ones. We don't want them to be very long. On the top of his head. Focus, magically do it. There it is, focused. Okay. And below his nose right here, we're just going to bring a line that comes straight down about halfway and stops. We don't need it to go all the way to the bottom. We don't want that going all the way down here. Now I'm going to put some whisker tracks on him. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Notice they kind of form a triangle on each side. We don't want to put 1,000 of them on there. Less is more. We're trying to simplify things. But these are one of the more interesting animals. Most whiskers on most animals kind of come out and droop down, like on a cat or a mouse or whatever. On a walrus, they got really stiff whiskers, so his whiskers are going to be more like this. More straight, not much bend in them, okay? They have very kind of really coarse, hard whiskers. Okay, my original circle, I'm done erasing, so I'm going to come around and darken this line in now. Darken it going across top of his head, down this side. We're at the end now, so we can darken our lines now. Whoops. Of course, I make a mistake. We'll fix it. Okay, so now I got him all fixed up. Now his nose, I'm going to make a little black nose, but I'm going to put just a little shine in it. Now how I'm going to do that is just put a little area, just like that. It's just a little, come on, focus, 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 just a little opening like that. And then I'm going to color around it. I just want a sliver of light in there. I don't want a big shine, just a little bitty one. When I finish it up, you see he's got just a little tiny shine. There it goes, it focused. Little tiny shine on his nose. And it's on the upper part of the nose, not down towards the bottom or in the middle. It's the upper part. Now walruses are big and fat. They got big old bodies. So his body's going to come out right from beneath this ear and just put a curved line like that. And then from this ear, we're going to just curve another line out like that. So he's kind of like leaning there. Kind of visualize that. A big old thick neck body. Their neck and body's kind of just one unit because they're so big around. Now technically, if we were getting more detailed, it'd be all kinds of wrinkles and stuff. But this is a cartoon, so we don't have to do that. Now for his eyes, we're going to give him some big shiny eyes. So I'm going to put a big reflection on his, like that, and then color it. So here's the best way to color these things in. Go around your reflection first. So you got a nice dark line around that. Then go around the outer edge of your eye, and you'll hear me repeat this a lot during the school year. The outer edge, just do the whole outer image. So you got a nice clean edge to the outside, and then all you have to do now is just come in and fill in the white spot. Not the dot, just the white areas on your eye. But now you got a nice clean edge going around it and not a rough bumpy edge. You got a nice clean edge on the inside of your shine. That's why that's important to do that first, so that you don't get like a lumpy, hairy looking edge going around your shine in your eye, the highlight in your eye, or a lumpy edge on the outside of the main pupil, or the main dark part of the eye. So I'm doing the same thing over here. So I went around all the outer areas, and now I just got to fill this part in. Okay, so now we've got his eyes on him. And the last black part, do it the same way. It's the eyebrows. Go around the outer edge. Like that. And color in the middle. So it's good and black. That also makes that line go away that was in the middle of it. So we just colored it in black now. That's a pretty cute little walrus, if I do say so myself. I would like to color in his neck and color in his head, but maybe we'll save that for tomorrow because, believe it or not, class is done. So here's what I want you to do. Look, everybody turn around and look at me. Here's your paper like this. Just fold it in half like that. That's all you need to do. Make sure your name is on it. And stack them on the back table like we always do. You did a great job today of paying attention and keeping quiet.